Do you remember all that wonderful sunshine that we had throughout the whole summer? Hardly a rain cloud, blue skies everywhere. Well, the day that we had the concrete being poured, and there was a lot of concrete being poured, it's a very messy job. You could really do with having it sort of coolish, but not too wet. And there is a law, I think, that says anything that could go wrong or it could be the wrong timing is what's going to happen, and that's what happened. It poured down on this day. It was a large area, huge concrete slab, lots of effort, but drenched. Anyway, the rain stopped, the concrete base was poured, and Elliot was able to get on with the bit he really wanted to do, which was the woodwork. And most of the time he did it on his own, but now and again he had some help from some able-bodied people, trying to be able-bodied. It was really exciting just day after day seeing how things were changing, what was going up next, what it was starting to look like, how it was taking shape. You can see there, beautiful blue sky, and then clouds just drifting across, starting to build up. This sort of time lapse is quite interesting. It shows the weather patterns, different kinds of cloud. It's quite fascinating, really. You can look at that rather than looking at the building. Anyway, the building was brilliant, seeing it go on, and just piece after piece. Of course, it looks very easy when it's done at this speed. It looks like everything just falls into place, but every cut has to be made, every length has to be right, everything has to be in the right place, cut at the right angle, and it's really great to see a craftsman at work, getting the spirit level out, making sure everything's on track. Every so often you see people drift in, like here's David and Isaac doing a bit of clearing up, just taking away some of the old cement. Now this was a work party day. It was a Saturday. Because of COVID, we're not having regular work parties like we did before with lots of people, but we have just a handful of people who are coming along and doing some really useful bits and pieces around the farm. And on this particular day, Elliot was able to get some help with putting up the plyboard onto the outside. Keeps all the form there. It's what you put the weatherproof membrane on this, which you'll see start to happen in just a minute, and then the cladding goes on top of battens after that. We haven't got as far as the cladding yet. That's a job for the new year, I think, but just getting the preparation and making the whole building watertight. I think Elliot quite liked working on his own and the sense of achievement of getting the job done. But on a day like this, when there's 4 people helping out, you do get a lot more done, and it takes something that might have taken him a week to do. You could get it all done in a day. It's brilliant. So this is now the waterproof membrane up to roof level, getting it all nailed into place onto the ply. It means it's all weather tight, and even if it does rain, it's not going to affect anything too much. Getting the roof light ready, all the battens are up there on the roof, you can see, and then getting quite an expensive piece of glass in the Velux window. And now, having got all that preparation done, we had the tiles delivered. These are clay pan tiles. We couldn't match exactly the ones that are already on the farm, but we found a fairly good match. And they had to be delivered more than once because the delivery company wasn't incredibly careful, and quite a number got broken. Quite amazing, really. Quite an expensive product, and they just didn't handle it with care. So we eventually got the right number there, and then the first part of the job is getting them so that they're accessible, which, as you'll see in a little while, was slightly counterproductive because they had a theory about how it was going to work, but laying them to get them all in the right place and fit the right way didn't work out quite the way that they'd planned it. So there was a little bit of double shifting. It's quite fun seeing them move this fast, isn't it? I'm sure they wish it was done this quickly. This was a good day or two's work of just moving things around, very heavy. You don't want to break anything, you don't want to drop anything. And obviously as the days go on, you get more tired. But Elliot was very appreciative of Paul's help, I know. So you can see they've started laying them, going up the outsides and going across the bottom, fitting them all together. Sort of a jigsaw really. Because they're curved, it's quite tricky to get the curves in the right place and the right spacing. So all the battens have to be in just the right place. And of course you're working at strange angles, you're resting on your knees. It's not the easiest place to stand or do anything. And you have to be careful. Don't try this at home. You just see somebody popping into the in the foreground there. It was nice seeing what was going on. People kept wandering over and offering cups of tea and coffee and just seeing how the work was progressing. It gives quite a buzz around the whole farm actually when there's something like this happening, because it's nice for people to see changes going on and the positivity of work progressing really well and something that looks so nice and is different. Each tile just carefully being placed in the right place, and then occasionally you have to move 2 or 3 and redo the bit you've just done to try and get a fit to go even better. So it's fairly repetitive. I guess if you do this kind of work every day of the week, it wouldn't be quite the same. You'd know exactly what you're doing and you just do it in one hit. But for these guys, it's not an everyday job. So you're kind of feeling your way a little bit. You see the clouds are now moving in a totally different direction to where they were before. Good fun, and the time lapse is quite amusing. Now you can see there Elliot's in the foreground just taking off the tiles that they'd already laid on that front bit and then having to lay them again to get the fit better. But now they're starting to get into their stride. Should probably have a bit of Benny Hill music going on in the background. Good to see craftsmen at work, isn't it? They are making it look really easy. I have to say, when you climb up on the roof, it is not that straightforward, because you're standing at this funny angle. You're worried about breaking the tiles that you're standing on. They've done a magnificent job. I'm sure they're very happy that it's not raining. That would have made it a lot more miserable. The weather's so important with everything that you do, really, isn't it? And there we are, the final thing. Just need the cladding, get the windows and doors in place, tidy up the garden, get the inside done. Cracking job.